Jai Bhim, Jai Mulnivasi. Friends, you are watching MNT News Network. Today is Sunday. Every Sunday we have a special talk. Today is again the very special talk about the women and the children. The subject of today's topic is the constitutional provisions for women and children. We have a speaker, eminent speaker with us, Advocate Mahendra Jadhav. He is a Baudik Pramukh from Telangana SST. We will discuss this topic in detail with him. And before going to discussion, I would like to request all of you that please like and share this MNT News Network. Either you are watching from YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Uh, Let it spread to your family and friends. Uh, okay, let's go to invite today's speaker. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for joining us, MNT News Network. Jabim Jamal Nivasi.
Javim sir, Javim, thanks for inviting me again. It's been happy that I'm meeting you again.
Yeah. So today we have a very special talk with you on the Constitution. And on the Constitution, the topic itself is a constitutional provision for women and children. As we know, the 50% population of the any country or any place is for the woman itself. So without talking the woman, it will be yeah, it's like and again coming to the children's here, children's are our pillars of the our society from where we cultivate. So these two topics, what we are going to discuss, is very important, and I mean our society, our country, everybody should know this because this is such a important rights. Okay, so let us begin from here. That The today's topic, the constitutional provision for women and children. Before that, why we need a constitution? What is the need of the constitution? First of all, yeah, from where it starts and how it starts. There are many countries they are even without working with the constitution, but even it is said that India has the largest and the best constitution in the world. So kindly put some light on this one, that give some ideas on that one as an introductory note. Yes.
Uh, Thanks again, sir. Thanks for inviting me. You put in a very right question in the beginning itself, that why we need constitution and why we need to understand it. See, for any progressive nation, be it democratic or autocratic or any country, you need a constitution, because constitution is the law of the land. It describes the rights and duties of the citizens. It also describes the roles and responsibilities of the legislature, executive, judiciary. And because of constitution, the entire country functions. So it is very important as a citizen of the country to read and understand what our constitution talks about, what are my right as a citizen, and what the state has to do for my overall progress. So as a citizen, I must know what are my rights. See, you have number of countries, and you will see the constitution for each and every country. As you rightly said, that Indian constitution is one of the biggest, one of the largest, one of the lengthiest, and the greatest constitution of the world. It's not because it has been written by Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar as such, but if you see the entire world constitution and compare it with the Indian constitution, you will see that it is the manifesto of humanity. If you see the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and compare it with Indian constitution, you will see that both have the same content. It talks about human welfare. As a constitution, it talks about its citizens. But if you compare Indian constitution with the Indian Universal Declaration of Human Rights, it talks about the entire humanity, about their welfare. So we are proud that we have such a great constitution, and we are living in a country where we proudly speak about the greatness of the constitution. So yes, it is very important to understand and read the constitution.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, moving forward, that's good, sir. Rightly said. Yeah, we will. So let us jump into the constitutional provisions under the for the women. So, what are the constitutional provision for the women? Please let us know.
uh, Sir, constitution talks about every individual of the nation, and not just about the Indian citizens, but also the foreigners. It also talks
Hmm.
about the corporation and legal right of every individual corporation living in the country, staying in the country. It talks about fundamental rights of the citizens. It also
Yeah.
talks about directive principles of the state policy, which talks about the state's duty for its citizen, how they can enact the bills, how they can pass the welfare schemes, so that the socio-economic political development of the citizen can be possible. So when you talk about women as such, females consist of 50% of the population. And if you consider women, Indian constitution has a very vast list of fundamental rights and other provisions which talks about overall development of women. You see, India is a country where for thousands of years females were put into the discrimination. They did not have right to education. They did not have right to speak. They were used as a means of only sexual needs. So before the constitution came into place, you will not see that the females of this country, irrespective of their caste and religion, be it a Hindu woman or a Dalit woman or a scheduled caste woman or a minority woman, no women in India had their fundamental rights. It is because of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar we see number of provisions included in the constitution, which talks about women's right. You have
Yeah.
the complete list of fundamental rights from Article 12 to 35, which talks about every citizen. But apart from that, also, there are specific articles in the fundamental rights and directive principles which talk particularly about females,
Hmm.
their rights, females and children's. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, another thing comes here that when we are talking about the rights, fundamental rights, then the given rights, there is something that there is something to safeguard even the rights. You have got the
Right.
rights, and there is a rights for safeguarding the rights. Yeah, that's the
Right.
beauty. So yeah, can you put some lights on the if there is something to stop the discrimination of the women? Yeah.
As I
Is
told you, sir, women is subjected to discrimination, harassment for centuries. Thousands of years, women was subjected to harassment. She did not have rights. She undergone tremendous discrimination in the Indian society. To overcome this, to give them the right and to stop that discrimination, Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar promulgated one article, very important article in the Indian Constitution, that talks about prohibition of discrimination. You see, there is one article, Article 14, which talks about equality before law and equal protection of law,
mm,
which talks about equality irrespective of their caste, religion, sex, place of birth, whether they are black or white, which caste they belong to, irrespective of their financial standings, their political standing, everyone is treated equally.
yeah,
That consists females also. But when we talk about discrimination, as I told you, that women is subjected to discrimination for thousands of years. To stop that discrimination, Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar included Article 15 in the Constitution. What does that article talks about? It talks about prohibition of discrimination on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. It means that women will not be discriminated on the basis of religion, on the basis of race, on the basis of caste, on the basis of gender, and on the basis of place of birth. Why Baba Sahib included these five connotations in the article? Because if you see Indian history, the pre constitution history and the ancient history, you will see that apart from other communities, women was the most victimized community in Indian society, on the basis of religion, race, caste, gender. You see, religion, be it a Hindu woman, a Brahmin woman, Kshatriya woman, Vaisya woman, or a Dalit woman, or a minority woman, she did not have right to education. She was not allowed to go out. She was not allowed to work. She was only subjected to bear children and satisfy the male counterpart. counterpart. She did not have any right to speak at even in the home also. Leave about the outer world. In the family also, she was subjected to harassment. So to stop this harassment, Baba Saheb Ambedkar included Article 15, which prohibits the discrimination. And on this basis, Baba, there are many laws that have been passed by the Indian government, by the parliament. There are a couple of laws which talks about Prevention Act, that has been passed. See, you know why, how the because of dowry, many women are subjected to cruelty. They were even killed, they were burnt alive. So that was a part of discrimination. To taking the basis of Article 15, the government of India passed Dowry Prevention Act and Protection of Women in Domestic Violence Act. Domestic violence, as I told you, that in families also she was subjected to discrimination. So to stop this discrimination, Baba Sahib included Article 15 and numerous acts, as such Dowry Prohibition Act and Protection of Women from Domestic Violence. And these are the two very important acts that have been passed based on Article 15.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, moving forward, I think other than this kind of description, there is a special phenomena happening. Either national or international level, we can see that what is called as a human trafficking. You know,
Right.
such a, things. So let us know what kind of provisions we have in the constitution related to the human trafficking. Yeah, very important aspect.
Women, since she is physically weak, and since it is a common understanding that women is used for sexual satisfaction and to do the household work, you see that from the centuries, since the centuries, women is subjected to uh, tremendous exploitation in the home itself. So human trafficking is one of the worst evils of Indian society. Not just Indian society, I would say for humanity. Human trafficking is one of the cruelest evil in this in the society. And women is subjected to the highest number of human trafficking. You will see that, if you must have read, and we are aware, we keep on seeing in the TV channels, news channels, on portals, independent media channels also, that females are subjected to trafficking. People sell and buy the women for their needs, for their
Hmm.
household works, for their sexual needs, for bonded labors. There are number of aspects which comes into place when you talk about human trafficking. Women's and girls, they are lured on the pretext of giving jobs, giving a good life. They bring girls from these smaller villages, and they sell those girls in the cities, where they are restricted to bonded labor. They are sold to some rich families, or some well constructed gang, where they harass them, they sexually exploit them, they sell them into the prostitution, they throw them into the prostitution. You see, in every city you will see the prostitution houses, operated very nicely with the help of politicians and other groups. So to stop this human trafficking of women, Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar included Article 23 in the Indian Constitution. The Article 23 is also one of the fundamental rights, that it is my right to live freely with dignity.
Yeah.
No one can be subjected to any kind of trafficking or bonded labor. So to stop this menace, to stop this human trafficking, Baba Sahib included Article 23, which is a fundamental, very important fundamental right in Indian Constitution. Clause 1, what does clause 23 talks about? Clause 1 talks about, particularly about females. It talks about right against exploitation in any form, rights against human trafficking, begging, and other similar form of forced labor. What you will see, that girls, women's, they are taken from small villages and sold to someone in metro cities, urban places, and they are forced into prostitution,
Hmm.
begging, forced labor, bonded labor. So to stop this, even if I without someone else's willingness. If I'm forcing someone to work, that is against law, and it is their fundamental right. They can go to courts that I have been subjected to human trafficking, I'm subjected to exploitation, I'm subjected to begging, I'm forced to beg without my ways. So the court will take cognizant of it, and it will punish according to the constitution. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, right, sir, right, right. Yeah, very rightly. I mean, you have put into the details of the human trafficking, which is happening only not in the national level, but even in the international level. Yeah. Uh, Coming to the, in the human life, we have a very important phenomena happening in our life. This growth or existence of the human happens through the maternity and paternity itself. We take the birth. Yeah. So but all the pains, because the child is, coming from the mother womb. Mother has to keep it into the 9 months, and then not only that, even child is coming after the delivery. It has a long way to go when it's a start, when he or she is going to start walking, and then going to the schooling. So there must be such a provisions. Is there any provisions for the maternity related issues for the women, please? Kindly let us know.
Yes, yes. Maternity also, we have certain provisions in Indian constitution. It talks about maternity rights. The maternity rights are covered in directive principles of state policy. Article
Hmm.
42 of Part 4 in Indian Constitution talks about provisions for just and human condition of work and maternity reliefs. You will see that women are part, since they have to bear the families, they have to take care of their families. They work, they need employment, and during employment also, you see that procreation, giving birth to child is one of the basic rights that women have. Earlier, before the Indian Constitution was passed, they were only subjected to bear the children, take care of the children, give birth to them. That's it. But since
Hmm.
Constitution came into picture, they got right to work, right to education, and women started working in corporates, in other government offices, and many other places where they were enjoying their rights. So
Yeah.
there come then again, the visionary Baba Sahib thought that there must be a provision which will talk about their maternity rights, because while working also, they have that natural tendency to give birth to children,
Yeah.
and it is the women who is responsible for the cycle of nature cycle. So you have to take care of that maternity period. That's why Baba Sahib included Article 42 in Directive Principles of State Policy, which talks about maternity reliefs, that they will be given 3 months of paid leaves during the maternity, and in case they have any complications, that relief, that maternity leave can be extended to six months also. And there are discussions that
Hmm.
that the maternity leaves will be increased to 9 months or 12 months, so that
Sure.
during pregnancy and after giving the birth, the child needs mother,
Yeah.
the child needs mother. So it is our responsibility as a citizen to take care of their maternity rights. And based
Yeah.
on Article 4042, uh, the Maternity Benefit Act 1961, the Factories Act 1948, and Industrial Employment Standing Orders Act 1946 were enacted by the Parliament of India, which particularly talks about women's right at workplaces, how they
Yeah.
will be treated, what will be their rights, and what the rights are there during their maternity. They are permitted to for maternity leave with paid leaves. They will not be
Yeah. Yeah.
females will not be deducted any salaries from their salaries, and they will be paid complete salary during their maternity period. So this is one of the greatest thing that we would see in the constitution, sir. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And nearby that one, there is another article so for the Uniform Civil Code Bill. Yeah, how this benefits the woman? Is there any benefit from this Uniform Civil Code Bill? Still, it's not implemented.
Uniform Civil Code is covered under Article 44 of the Indian Constitution, sir.
yeah,
This is one of the revolutionary thought that we see in Indian constitution. But unfortunately, the parliamentarians, executives, the bureaucrats have neglected this article to the core. I would say, if this article would have been enacted, you would not have seen tremendous discrimination, inequality with respect to females. Uh, the problem is, when you talk about article 44, people consider it only for the Muslims or one particular community. It is not like that.
yeah,
If you read the Constituent Assembly debates and the explanation given by Baba Sahib Ambedkar on this article, you will see that this article was targeted for the entire female community, not just a few Muslim community. You see the bigamy in Hindu families, also in Christian families. You see bigamy in all the communities.
yeah,
You will see more than one marriage in other communities also, not just in Muslim communities. So Article 44 was targeted for the 50% of the population, but unfortunately, people misunderstand it that Article 44 Uniform Civil Code is only for the Muslims, and they should be restricted, and they have the Shariat laws which talks about their own particular Muslim community. It is not like that.
hmm,
Article 44 talks about every female of the country, be it their right with respect to partition, adoption, divorce, maintenance. You take any guardianship. If
hmm,
you see the Hindu code bill, that is correlated with Article 44, which talked about every female rights of the country. But
hmm,
unfortunately, Hindu code bill was not enacted, and at the time when Baba Sahib was alive, he resigned from the law ministry, and we see that Hindu code bill was passed in four stages till now. They are, they
yeah,
did
yeah,
not they did not pass it when Baba Sahib was alive. He resigned it in anger. But when we see the complete set of female rights, complete set of fundamental rights of women, you will see that Hindu code bill was passed, enacted in stages, into three,
yeah,
four
yeah,
stages
yeah,
that has been passed. So
yes,
Article 44 is one of the most effective provisions of the directive principle set, and we
yeah,
have to think about it. But unfortunately, even after 70 plus years of independence, we have not seen any constructive steps to implement this article. Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And okay, so far, we have discussed the some human, some rights of the women. Let us have now about the childrens. You know, the what are the constitutional provisions in for the childrens, and also the same thing, the human trafficking for the childrens. Yeah, let us have some discussion on that, please.
Unlike females, children are also a weak entity. You can
Hmm,
suppress them, you can
hmm,
exploit them, you can discriminate them, you can order them, you can put them under undue influence to make things done, to impose your ideology and your thoughts. So children are also one of the most affected population of Indian society, where they are subjected to discrimination, inequality, and uh, forceful, any undue influence. For education purpose, Article 45 was the article which was included in an Indian Constitution, Directive Principles of State Policy, which talked about compulsory education for children. But when you see, in 2002, this fundamental right was added in the fundamental rights as Article 21, Right to Education Bill. This
hmm,
article gave a right for all the children from the age group from 6 to 14 to have a compulsory education, and it is the duty of the state government to make sure that every children of this country is educated, and primary education is given to all the children within the age group of 6 to 14. Again, I'm a bit skeptical about this age group. You cannot restrict age group when you give primary education.
yeah,
Education education is a lifelong process. So I
yeah,
feel again, we need to think about the interpretation and wordings of this article, and we need to expand the language of this article, which covers the entire children group, and everyone included in it, to so that the primary education is given to everyone irrespective of
Yes.
their age.
Yeah. 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 Uh,
Then, yeah.
yeah, if you see the the our country, it's really really sad to know that the more than 30% of the Indian population are below the poverty line. If you look the in the corona time itself, around 80 crores of the people were given just the grains. How do you see this with respect to the Indian constitution regarding the dealing the poverty of the as you said the education by having a 75 years of the freedom until now education is not a spread. I mean, still the Mulnivasi Bahujan are and so much so big population is still uneducated, and this uneducation has lead to so many things like blind beliefs. You know, there are so many bad evils due to this education which is not given to the majority of the population. So how do you see all this related to the poverty and then all these rituals and the blind beliefs?
If you see directive principles of state policies of the Indian Constitution, sir, you will see
Yeah,
the entire set of articles from Article 36 to 51. The
yeah,
entire set of articles talks about states' responsibility and their duties to take care of the citizens and implement such laws which help the citizens to progress in their life socially, economically, politically, and religiously. But
yeah,
unfortunately, the directive principles of state policy, I don't know why directive principles of state policies is not given so much importance. But for me, like fundamental rights, the entire set of directive principles, we as an Ambedkarite also, we have to start understanding the importance of directive principles, because directive principles of state, because they are directly connected with your life,
yeah,
your education, your economic progress, your political progress, your social progress, your rights, they are all connected with directive principles of state policy, and they are directed to state to take care of every citizen of this. I would like to highlight Article 39, Article 41, and Article 42, and then we can conclude our session. The article, what does Article 39 talks about? It
yeah,
directs the state to enact its policies towards securing adequate means of livelihood. The state is also directed to distribute the material resources as best to subserve the common good and the health and strength of the worker, men and women, and the tender age. What does this article says? It says that the state should do something, that the adequate means of livelihood is provided to every citizen. Where do we see the adequate means of livelihood? We don't have work. We have seen in corona, people died because of food.
yeah,
They were subjected to the cruelest form of cruelty in the history of mankind. You saw people dying because of hunger. It was a complete state failure, that they could not even provide our citizens a basic need, that is
yes,
food. So this is a complete violation of directive principles, the constitution itself. Again, Article 41, it directs the state in its economic capacity and development to make effective provisions for securing the right to work, to education, and public assistance in cases of unemployment, old age, sickness, and disablement. I told you that since our topic is women and children, they are subjected to discrimination, harassment. What does this article says? It talks about unemployment, it talks about old age, it talks about sickness, it talks about disablement, it talks about in their economic development, it talks about women and children right. But we see that these articles are not being implemented. Again, Article 45, it talks about the early childhood care and education for children below the age of 6 and 14. Where are the
yeah,
kids? You will see that many when you pass on the roads, you will see that children, the kids are working in hotels, in on roads, they are begging on roads. So is it not a state failure where they, the state, the government is failed to provide its kid, its children a basic need, a basic right called education? They cannot provide them education, they cannot provide them food. So as a reader, what we see, they work in industries, they work on at homes as a labor, they beg on roads. You see,
Hmm.
you feel pity about them, but what we can do, we have to agree that it is a state failure and constitutional failure on, from the states, that they are unable to provide basic needs for children and women as, yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, as you said rightly from beginning to until at the end of this, we are at the end of the session itself, and as it is said that the Constitution of India is the solution of each and every problems, not of the
Yes.
human being itself. Even the all the resources we have, either it's a forest, it's a mountain, it's a river, it's animals, it's all living and non-living beings, reserves, and so much. Things. So the Constitution of India is a solution of each and every problem of the human beings and all the resources to it. But until now, we haven't seen that the implication, execution of the Constitution in its true spirit, in the right word by word, line by line. So we hope that there will be a day when we will have our Mulnivasi Baujan government, the true representative of our people will be reaching to the government, who should be able to, I think, implement the constitution word by word, line by line, in the true spirit. The today you joined with us, you have given such a good discussion. We discussed in detail. At the end, you can give a one liner message to this subject, and then we can end the program. Yes.
My humble request to all the citizens, especially from the depressed classes, be it scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, minorities, the Adivasis, and the Bahujans, if you don't read and understand Constitution, y- your existence is in question. Your existence will be only protected by the Constitution. We talk about good things about Constitution, we are very proud of Constitution, but we never bother to read the Constitution. We never bother to understand what the provisions are there in the Constitution, which talks about my right. Being emotional about the Constitution is good, but being practical is very important these days, because we have been seeing that the system is working tirelessly to set an alternative against the Constitution.
Yeah.
If we don't read the Constitution, if we don't understand the Constitution, you cannot fight. You
Hmm.
if you see, when you go for a war, to fight a war, you need your armory,
Yeah.
right? You need
Yeah.
weapons.
Yes.
Without weapons you cannot fight. And
Yes.
for the Bahujans of this country, for the people of this country, Constitution is their ultimate weapon. We
Yeah.
say, they say Brahmastra, the biggest
Missile.
weapon of the universe. For
Yes.
Bahujan, their Brahmastra is in the Indian Constitution. If they don't read the Indian Constitution, if they don't understand the Constitution, they will be finished in coming days. So my humble request to all the people of this country, who love this country, who love the democratic ideals of the country, the democratic principles of the Indian Constitution, they must read Indian Constitution. They must work tirelessly to spread the humanitarian principles among the masses. Only then you can protect your existence. Otherwise, everything is finished.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for a great message today. I want to let the viewers know that we have one complaint going on, BS4, door to door BS4, Bharatiya Samvidhan Samman Suraksha or Sambardhan. So our aim is to reach the constitution each and every door, not only each and every door, but in every hands. So this year around 2 lakhs of the people will be just going door to door and spreading the constitution. That is the aim of the BS4, and it will be keep continuing. Thank you so much, sir, for joining with us. We will be keep in touch, and we will be meeting and again in some another sessions. So great, nice Yeah, thank you so much. Jai Bhim, Jai Mulk Nivasi, Jai
Thank you, sir.
Samvidhan, Jai
Thanks for
Bharat.
giving me this opportunity again. Thanks a lot, and thanks for the viewers also for listening me. Thanks a lot.
Yes.
Jai
Uh,
Bhim to everyone.
Jai Bhim, sir. Friends, as you saw the today's session, you have viewed. I would like to request that again you share it, like and follow it every day at 8:30 night. We have a discussion. Similarly, tomorrow again we have a discussion on the relevant topic. Second, current topic is the topic is in Hindi. एनकाउंटर की वैधता, कानून का शासन और न्यायपालिका के अस्तित्व पर चुनौती। एनकाउंटर की वैधता, कानून का शासन और न्यायपालिका के अस्तित्व पर चुनौती। वक्ता होंगे मूल निवासी अभिषेक चौहान, अधिवक्ता हैं सर्वोच्च न्यायालय से। वी विल डिस्कस विथ हिम टुमारो, सो प्लीज ज्वाइन at 8:30 tomorrow night, and with this we will finish the program, this session now. जय भीम, जय मूल निवासी, जय संविधान, जय भारत।
MNT न्यूज नेटवर्क को सब्सक्राइब करें, लाइक और फॉलो करना ना भूलें। साथ ही बेल आइकॉन दबाकर जन जागृति की मुहिम में जुड़े रहें।